Hey, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the Age of Atlantis, a game that from the box alone I've been looking forward to for a long time. It reminded me a lot of the art from a book called Dinotopia that I loved as a kid, even though the theme is quite different in the Age of Atlantis. This is a kind of a partial engine building, partial worker placement game that seems to have some inspirations in games like Scythe that I helped design, or that I designed, which made me really interested in playing it. And the components are beautiful, really, really beautifully produced game. Some of those components here in the box. And it includes a component that I think is particularly clever, which are these little silkscreen printed cubes. They're not dice. You never roll them. They are workers that you're using throughout the game, and you can upgrade them in different ways. But the really neat mechanism about these workers, other than the upgrading is really cool. Like you can take, if you have, where's a standard worker? So here's a kind of a standard starting worker. You can upgrade that worker to add a sword to them to make them an Atlantean, and then they look like this. And that just increases the number of places where you're allowed to place this worker. But the really cool thing about these workers is that they turn basic turns into turns that feel a little magical, little boosted, little combo-rific, in that if I place, say, this worker out on the board, I take an action and based on where I place that worker on the board, and immediately, if I want to, I can make that worker a little unhappy. And you can see here, there's a little minus sign down there at the bottom of the cube, the bottom of the worker, that tells me which direction to turn it. I can turn it, I can make the worker unhappy to take that action again. So I get double the benefit, essentially, of this action. Or to take another action. It doesn't even have to be the same identical action. It can just be another action with this worker based on where that worker was already placed. You can't move them again. And you can even make the workers extra happy. So this is the happiest a worker can be. And so I could use that worker twice. I could downgrade that worker twice and make them really unhappy, or just maybe a little unhappy. So it's a way to use a worker more than once on the same turn after placing it. And the happiness, I won't go into what the happiness means in the game. The morale is what it's called in the game. But the morale plays a different role in the game. It is important. It's something to keep in mind. But the game is very generous with morale. At the end of each round, there's a phase where you get to improve the morale of all of your workers. And so the game is really encouraging players to take these turns where you're doing multiple things with the same worker on the same turn, and that feels really good. I really, really like that mechanism. Really cool worker mechanism in the game. The other thing I wanted to mention in the game that I thought was, that felt really good, again, this might have been a little inspired by Scythe or other games that have public achievements, but the game is played over 3 ages, the Age of Atlantis is. And in each of the ages, there's a different set of achievements. So in my game, Scythe, there's only one set of achievements. They're there for the whole game. In this game, those achievements kind of evolve over the course of the game based on how powerful players are. And so here's the Age 1 achievements over here. They're things like you've built 4 buildings, you've placed 2 research cubes, you have 30 political power, those are victory points. You have 1 myth deployed, those are kind of like the mechs in this game. But if you then look at Age 2, once you get down here, these things are still relevant. Like if I built 4 buildings here, those 4 buildings can still count there's no 4 building or no building related achievement down here. But like myth, if I've deployed 1 myth in Age 1, and I gain a star for that. You can put a little token there. In the second age, the goal is 2 myths deployed. So this 1 myth that I already deployed here and got a star for still counts. I just need to deploy another myth in Age 2, and I can get credit for that too. But I really like these. I really like completion bonuses in games. And I like when they're public, when all players can go after them. They're all available. You're not blocking other players from them. And it just feels really good. It feels really good for me to complete a goal, and the game is giving me a little guidance, especially for the first play, as to the types of things that I might want to do in Age 1 or Age 2. Another game that does this is Dead Reckoning. I think Dead Reckoning has these completion bonuses, and they're done really well. But this is the first time that I've seen it tiered by what time, not really what round, what age of the game that you're in, what stage of the game that you're in at that time, Age 1, Age 2, or Age 3 goes down a little off the board here. I thought that was really clever. So yeah, the achievements and the worker morale system leading to more powerful worker placement turns are my 2 favorite mechanisms in the Age of Atlantis. If these remind you of any mechanisms in other games, feel free to mention them in the comments, or let me know in the comments if you've played this game what your favorite mechanism is in the Age of Atlantis. Thanks.